welcome back, everybody, to another CC football podcast. As always, Craig is with me, and as almost always now, Clay Troyer from Cotton Talk is with us. Clay, welcome in again.
Thanks for having me, Clay. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Craig is experiencing some technical difficulties right now, so I'm not going to bother him yet. But we have a really exciting time in the football world, I guess, because we have another World Cup. It's the eve of the World Cup starting on Sunday. I'm excited. We're going to go through some predictions, and we're all going to give our takes on what's going to happen in predictions. And then we also have another friend of the show, Haman's predictions that we're going to read off. So yeah, it's going to be a good time. Craig, are you all set now?
I'm all set. I don't know how I'm gonna share my screen without showing all the picks, but we'll figure it out once you do it.
Okay. All right. So the way we're gonna do it is
nice. Hey, Clay, thanks for coming up with a nice creative background, Clay Troyer. As you can see.
All right. So the way we're gonna do it is we're gonna go group by group at first, and then after that we're gonna take it. Everyone's going to read off their knockout rounds because that'll be a little bit different, but their groups will be the same. So starting in Group A, so we have Qatar, Senegal, Ecuador, and the Netherlands. I guess you can see my picks here. I have Netherlands, Ecuador, then Senegal, and Qatar not reaching.
Wait. So how are we doing? Are you going through all your groups, or we're all going?
We're all going to go through Group A and say what we thought, and then Group B.
But then knockouts we'll do separately.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
whoa. Hope that's not a spoiler there, Clay.
No, you guys know my love for Denmark.
Yeah, which is why I hope that's not a spoiler.
I don't think it's a spoiler any more than other people's picks might be. I think Group A, Netherlands, Ecuador, Senegal, Qatar. It's an interesting pick you've got there. I think Netherlands is probably the safest bet for first. I don't know, Craig, what do you think?
Yeah, I did the same, except I swapped Ecuador and Senegal, so I didn't do the same.
I did too. I had Netherlands, Senegal, Ecuador, then Qatar.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably the. And also, I just didn't know how Senegal would deal with not having Mane, because he's such a big part of their team.
Clay has PTSD from how Liverpool reacted to not having Mane.
Yeah, I've seen how a Mane-less team performs, and I don't like it. So,
yeah, I think it's a tough call. I mean, with all the rumors that Qatar has match fixed the opener against Ecuador, if that's actually true and that doesn't go unpunished for some reason or somehow, then I mean they're already starting a game down. So it's like that was kind of my thinking too behind it.
Yeah. I mean, I placed a bet on Qatar 1-0 because that was apparently the bribe.
Second half goal. Did you do the second half goal too?
No, I didn't.
That would have been crazy odd.
But yeah, so I think this is a pretty. I guess it's hard to see Netherlands not getting out of this group, especially with Senegal not being at full strength.
I mean, I don't think there's a super easy group here in this World Cup, but this might be the easier one of all of them.
Group B. This is mine. I have England, then US second, Wales, and Iran.
Whoa.
I'll run you through my reasoning first because I guess I'm going to spoil all my picks at the very beginning. But I mean, England's definitely the strongest team talent-wise in the group. And after that, I would kind of pool the US, Wales, and Iran in the same pot. I could honestly see any of the three advancing. And so I like the young talent that US has. Granted, it hasn't completely come together yet, but maybe this is the World Cup, the tournament that it starts coming together. And, you know, as an American, we have to back the boys, the boys in the red, white, and blue. So I had to put them through because it was such a coin flip for me.
I gotta share my screen for this. It'll be the drama.
Okay. I'll pop it up there, Clay.
All right. 1 second.
He really is building up the drama.
I know. Well, while he's doing that, I can tell you what. what Hamant picked.
Yeah, do that.
Hamant actually went with England first, and then he had Wales second, Iran third, and USA fourth. So
Wow.
yeah.
Well, I tried to do that. It didn't work, I don't think.
Oh, there we go. Yep, I see it. Oh,
Clay, what the heck?
oh,
What
Oh.
are you smoking, man?
Let me walk you through my reasoning here, okay?
Please do.
So basically,
for those of you guys not watching, Clay has picked US first, Wales second, so he has England not making it.
yeah, US, Wales, England, Iran. There's a
But
lot
you're gonna give all the American fans a bad rep when America doesn't make it out of the group, and all our viewers are gonna watch this episode. They're gonna be like, "Oh, look at these dumb Americans thinking they're gonna finish first."
That's fine. I mean, that's fine. First of all, I don't think any England fan is confident about this World Cup. I mean, based on how Southgate has played this English team over the last, year or so, it's not promising in any means.
What? What is not promising? England. This is what he has succeeded in every single tournament he's played.
I just said the last year. If you would listen, you
Yeah,
would
but
understand what I'm
that's how
saying.
people felt. That's how people felt in the year before the Euros as well.
Yeah, but Craig, like looking at who he's picked, like I know he's going to start Maguire, and that's just a recipe for a disaster at this
All right,
point
hey,
in his form. So
fair
let
enough.
me finish my reasoning before
Okay.
you attack me, okay? The U.S. team, I after the last international break, I was like I had no hope because just how terrible we looked, in all honesty. And I'm not the biggest fan of Greg Berhalter for this team, especially this group of players. But based on the team selection, I'm a little more confident. We've got good players playing in the top 5 leagues. The question is, are we going to be able to connect our style of play to the quality of those players? I don't know if I'd put Iran on the same level as the US and Wales. And I think I'd put Wales talent-wise just a little bit above the US. I mean, we have someone like Bale. I mean, he was top 3 in the world at one point. If it wasn't for Messi and Ronaldo, he would have been the best in the world for a number of years. And I think that goes without saying.
Yeah, no, it definitely takes some saying.
Okay.
But you can say it.
All right, that's fine. I mean, he would have won at least one Ballon d'Or if it wasn't for those two, I think, in that time. So given Bale, it makes me a little bit worried, but also some of the he has some US teammates on his club team, and him playing in the MLS, I don't think was great for him in terms of preparing him for the World Cup. So we'll see how that shakes out. But as far as the US goes, how they've played in the past World Cups is the great thing about the US team and these players is the way they play. They play with pretty much heart, right? It's like a Ted Lasso sort of vibe. And I hate to say that, but I think Americans, when it comes to sport, they love to fight. And I think that's one thing that we're going to be, you can always say anyone can win any soccer game on any given day, right? But I think the US really are going to highlight that, right? They're going to highlight their willingness to just go for it, right? So when we come up against the Wales game, I'm not really sure what's going to happen there. I think I could have put Wales first, US second. I think Wales have everything to gain and nothing to lose in this tournament either. The US as well. I mean, the US weren't even in the last one. This is the first one Wales have been in like 50 years, right? Something crazy like that.
Yeah, long time.
So it's like both of those teams are promising teams, and they're going to fight hard, and England have everything to lose. They made it to the semifinal of the last World Cup, and they made it to the final of the Euros, and they screwed it up both times. And there's a lot of what honestly sparked this was an interview on a guy on TalkSport saying that not a single Welsh player steps into the England team. And I was just flabbergasted at the arrogance, because that's just not true. I mean, he even said they picked 26 people. If they had 4 more picks, they'd pick 4 more English people rather than any of the Welshmen. And it's like, that's just, I don't know. That really pissed me off. So it kind of lit this fire that, you know what, I've got a feeling that England could struggle, right? So I'm not sure how Iran's going to do. I think they'll probably lose. They could lose to all these teams, but they could also. I haven't really watched them at all, so it's hard to really say. It's hard to say. My gut will tell me that they're probably not going to do very well, but I also haven't really watched them to any extent that I've watched these other 3 teams. I mean, out of the teams that I follow regularly at the international level, these 3 are top 5 probably. If you just add in, I don't know, Denmark and maybe South Korea there. But Yeah, I don't know. I've got a good feeling about.
Wait, what'd you? Yeah, never mind.
Yeah,
I missed your last sentence, but it didn't sound like one that I agreed with.
I said out of the top 5 teams that I watch regularly, these three, England, US, and Wales, are ones that I watch on the international level very regularly. The other
Oh,
two I'd
okay.
said were Denmark and South Korea.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know how you can
I like
agree
it.
with my
I
opinion.
like Clay. I like your reasoning. I am optimistic as well. I think that it could definitely happen.
And you also look at like the rivalry that Wales and England have. I mean, that's a no-brainer for me. Like the US has a bone to pick with England, and so do Wales. So like I said, England have everything to lose and not like a much to gain. Like if they win, it's just going to be, oh, they did what they were supposed to do. But if US and Wales win, it's game over for them. So all it takes is one Harry Maguire own goal to really set the standard, and then both these teams are off running. So
All right, Craig, who did you pick for this group?
Yeah, to be honest, oh, do I have to share my screen?
No, I'll keep sharing.
Yeah, I yeah, I think I picked maybe the opposite order of Clay Troyer, or close to it. I don't know what order he had England and Iran in, but I had England, Iran, USA, Wales as my top four.
right.
Yeah, mainly because I disagree with pretty much everything that Clay Troyer said.
Can you explain it?
I mean, and yeah, I'll do it super quick. Yeah, I mean, everything you said was, I felt like an argument for why the USA and Wales should not be the two. You're talking about, yeah,
No.
the
You said
USA didn't make the last World Cup. Wales has never made one, and your conclusion from that is, yeah, they're very exciting, promising teams that are gonna win the group.
my conclusion was that it's not they have something to fight for and they have nothing to lose. Like they have no like you see teams choke all the time because they have everything to lose. Like let's look at Germany in the last World Cup, right? They had everything to lose, and those teams that went through had nothing to gain. What was it, Mexico and South Korea? Like no one would have guessed that, right? So England are in a similar situation, except they haven't even won anything to warrant that, right? So it's like,
Okay. Yeah, my reasoning was, I mean, yeah, England has with Southgate, they've been the most successful they've ever been in tournaments, Euros, World Cup, and the Nations League. And I think they have a really good squad, and they've added a couple players that weren't regulars back in the day, like Jude Bellingham. I think transforms that midfield. Declan Rice is more regular, more experienced, and then Phil Foden. I think those three players having more experience and now actually playing are the reason I picked them up top. And then yeah, I agree with Clay. Right, you could kind of. I wasn't sure about the USA, Iran, and Wales. Iran seemed like the most fun pick to me. Um, and yeah,
you're right now, Greg.
I wasn't gonna pick Wales. This is an unbiased choice. This is just based on who I think's gonna make it through.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, obviously mine weren't unbiased, but
Yeah, gotta have some heart. Gotta have some
yeah.
heart. All
All
right,
right, next group.
Group C, we have Argentina, Mexico, Poland, Saudi Arabia. You can see my picks on the screen. I went in that order. I was really flip-flopping between Mexico and Poland, but ended up going with Mexico. I
Yeah,
don't know
mine's
why.
the same.
Yours are the same, Greg.
Mine's the exact same.
Mine
where'd you
is
go with?
mine's Argentina, Poland, Mexico, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, that's what Hamant did. I could
Yeah.
be fine with either one.
The reason of that is like, I mean, I don't know. Mexico don't look great right now, to be honest. Like
they don't.
they,
And Poland has arguably the best player in the group. So
yeah. Well, yeah. What?
yeah,
I mean, he thinks Lewandowski is better than Messi, which is fine, I guess. But
I mean on form, from
No.
last year
Okay,
on
on
form,
form
yeah.
from last year. That's not what on
that
form
means.
means.
No, on form from last year. So
All right.
based on last year, yes, I would say that Lewandowski had a better season than
What do you
Messi.
mean
last
based
year.
on last year?
He did. He
Yeah,
won the
but why are
Ballon
you
d'Or
basing
last
why are
year.
you basing it off? He did not win the Ballon d'Or.
Oh no, Benzema won it. Never mind. He
Yeah.
should have won the Ballon d'Or the year before that. That was the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to Group D. Here we go. I have Denmark finishing first over France, and then Tunisia and Australia. I don't know. I think that France could really struggle in the midfield this World Cup because they don't have two of the regular starters in Conte and Pogba. And we all know that you can make do with spotty defense or spotty forwards sometimes, but if you have a weak midfield, the game is just going to pass you by. It's really hard to control the games in that pitch. And on the other hand, Denmark's going into this World Cup on a really strong run from the Nations League. And so I think that they have a really good chance to finish first in this group.
And they've got some really good players as well,
Definitely.
Denmark. And they, you saw it in the what was it? The Euros or the World Cup? World Cup, they made it pretty far, right? Or was the Euros? I can't remember. Clay Troyer, this should be you. You're the Denmark fan. They
What did
they
you
re
say?
They made it far in the Euros, I'm pretty
in the
sure.
Euros. Is that where they
Yeah.
made it far? Denmark?
Correct.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, because after the
Last summer.
Ericsson. Yeah, yeah, last summer. Yeah, I had the exact same order, and the reason is pretty much the same. I think France lost their entire. I know France lost their entire midfield. They have two young, like players ready to take the mantle from Pogba and Kante, but we don't know if they can. And then also, Clay Troyer mentioned this earlier, the how Germany didn't make it out of the group, and that's been like the curse of the World Cup. Whatever the people who win, the team that wins the World Cup for the last like 3 or 4 World Cups hasn't made it out of the group the next time. Saw it with Germany, saw it with Spain, saw it with Italy, and so it's France's turn to technically not make it out of the group. But I just still couldn't pick them Tunisia or Australia over France, so
Yeah.
I put them second.
I have the exact same order as you guys.
Really?
I really wanted to pick like Tunisia or Australia to beat out France, but I think they're good enough to make it through. I mean, this might be the weakest group in all honesty. But
Especially with the bottom two teams. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I mean. Is like it's kind of it. I don't want to say it's shoo-in for the top two, but France do not. I mean, without those two players, like those are super important for them and with the way they play. So I mean, if they make it out, I think they're losing first round. But
So Hamant did France first, then Denmark. Just
Okay.
yeah. All right. Group E, we have Spain, Germany, Japan, Costa Rica. I went with Spain and Germany progressing, Japan a close third, and then Costa Rica fourth. I like the young talent is kind of exciting for me in Spain. Their midfielders like Pedri and Gavi, I think, are going to be pretty good this World Cup. And yeah, I just like the style of play that they have, the tiki-taka and more expansive football that they're going to try to impose on the rest of the teams in their group.
Yeah, I had the same, except I flipped Costa Rica and Japan because I felt like it.
All
I
right.
don't I don't have a good reason for that. Like I don't watch Costa Rica or Japan very, very closely. So yeah.
Clay?
yeah, I put Germany, Spain, Japan, Costa Rica because I like the youth in Spain, but I'm not convinced that their lack of experience will prevail. I think Japan are a solid side, so I could see them doing well. I mean, I watched their game against the US most recently, and they've got good players. They're always really solid.
Minamino.
Yeah. Well, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But I do.
Germany's been iffy. The reason I put them second as well. Germany's been very iffy over the last like year with their international games.
That's
Yeah.
definitely true. I think they've got a bone to pick since what happened last time. Like they're not gonna let that happen again. Like if they do, it's gonna be bad news for them. So
Well, Hamant predicted it to happen. He has Japan beating out Germany. And
Yeah,
so he has
Hamant's a big
Spain,
Japan fan.
Spain, Japan, Costa Rica, Germany. Or Spain, Japan, Germany, Costa Rica. Sorry.
All right.
Yeah. So now moving along to Group F.
Whoa.
This is my big surprise. This is why I say, Craig, you're not gonna like my picks because I know you're a big Belgium supporter.
Holy heck. I mean, I like them. I like when people go crazy.
Yeah, so
I didn't like mine.
Group
Yeah,
F,
but I didn't like your reasoning. I like that you went crazy.
Group F, we have Morocco, Canada, Belgium, and Croatia. And I went with Croatia first, Morocco second, which means Belgium would not make it out of the group stage. And then Canada fourth.
Wow.
I know this is like the quote unquote golden generation for Belgium. I just think that that ship has kind of sailed for them. You look at a lot of their squad and they're getting older, and I mean
they're bigger bottle jobs than
especially at center back, like in their defense. I think that they're really starting to become more shaky back there. And teams like Croatia, where we saw them last World Cup they went to the finals last World Cup, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, they have this experience. I mean, I guess you could say that the same thing with Belgium, where their players are older, so they have more experience, but they don't have experience of going to the final of the World Cup. And I don't know. I just felt like this is kind of like the signal of the end of their golden generation with Morocco beating them also.
I had Belgium, Canada, Croatia, Morocco. So I have Canada making it through. That's one of my slightly spicy picks as well. I mean, Croatia is a completely different team for me than like the 2018 World Cup 4 years ago. The players are different. A lot of because they were a relatively old team even back then.
Yeah.
Like
They
the
still
star
have
player.
key players like Modric coming through and bringing that quality and experience.
I mean, yeah, they have some, but not the same as they had in 2018. And even then, it was kind of a dream run that they made, which was amazing, and I was supporting them to win it. But yeah, I just don't think. Yeah, I don't think they're actually that far ahead of um Canada, to be honest with you. But I mean, I could be proven wrong. I'm a big Alfonso Davies fan, so maybe he'll come out a left back to score all the goals or something.
They're
Um,
gonna need him.
what?
They're gonna need him.
Yeah, they're gonna need him. Yeah, that's my spicy take. Croatia third and Morocco last.
Yeah, I had Croatia, Belgium, Canada, Morocco. I think Morocco and Canada are interchangeable. Honestly, I didn't really care too much about the third and fourth picks in these.
Mm,
It was mostly about who was gonna make it.
Yeah.
um, but for me, I don't know. It was tough between Croatia and Belgium. I think Belgium tend to choke, so that's why I put Croatia first. But I think Belgium should win this group handily. Like they should win it handily. To Craig's point, Croatia is a much different team, but I think they still have some exciting young players that we're gonna see how they do. But you know, they've got some exciting young defenders, which is I think where they struggle most. I mean, when it comes to age, like aging defenses are really easy to break down or easier to break down. So we'll see where they go with that. But yeah, I had Croatia, Belgium, Canada, Morocco.
All right.
all right.
Mine went with Belgium, Morocco, Croatia, Canada. So I'm the only one with Belgium and
Hemant did what?
Mine had Belgium, Morocco, Croatia, Canada.
Morocco. Wow.
Yeah.
Big pick.
All right. Group G is the second to last one, and we have Cameroon, Brazil, Switzerland, and Serbia. I went with the same as Hamant, actually, and this is Brazil, Serbia, Switzerland, Cameroon. I think
Mine was
Brazil
just switched Switzerland and Serbia. Oh,
yeah,
sorry. Are we
I
doing
think Brazil is definitely
three?
the best team in this group. They should hopefully, I think, get through relatively easily. But Serbia and Switzerland also have some exciting players, or some good players that I think I could see either of them getting through.
Yeah, I had the same thing. I just switched Switzerland and Serbia. I think Switzerland, they love the World Cup. They love a good World Cup. They always show up. So I think they'll do the same. I don't think Serbia's or Cameroon are good enough to out them. So, but Brazil should far and away win this group. They should not lose.
Agreed. Group H, Uruguay, Portugal, Ghana, and South Korea.
This
I
is where we see Clay Troyer's bias.
No, this is where we see
play.
Clay Wright's bias.
Why?
Against
Clay Wright.
Oh, come on.
There's negative bias too, Craig. Come on.
I thought you said that you don't care about the third and fourth picks.
I don't, but Craig mentioned that, so I had to bring it up.
So I have Uruguay, then Portugal, then Ghana, and South Korea. I put Uruguay over Portugal as I don't know. I just think that the Ronaldo stuff is gonna influence the Portugal side in all the negative ways. He's making all the headlines right now,
And not in a good way.
and not in a good way. And team cohesion in these tournaments can be tough because you don't have as much time spent with all these players because you're just coming in from all your clubs and then playing in these tournaments. And when you have a player as big as Ronaldo making these, I mean, outlandish statements online and in these interviews, like I just think that it's going to be such a distraction for them. I was flip-flopping between making Portugal like go almost all the way because that's like what Ronaldo would do, or what I ended up doing, which was struggling. And I think that Uruguay, I mean, they're a good team and they have a lot of good strikers, especially Darwin Nunez. But But no, they have Nunez, Suarez, and Cavani. I mean, the other two are a little bit older or much older. But they have some good strikers and other players like, I mean, they have Bentancur and Valverde in the midfield, which is a great pairing in the midfield. I mean, almost as good as any other side, I could say.
I mean, especially you look at the form that like Bentancur is in right now. Like,
And Valverde.
yeah, that's actually true. I mean, if you have a midfield that's like playing as well as those two are playing right now, and like Bentancur's got to be in the best shape of his life. I don't know how much Tottenham you guys have watched recently, probably not much, but the man runs everywhere. It's like, and when you have a front three like that, who besides Darwin, who's very young and very fast, the other two are maybe like getting a little up there. So like they might not be, their fitness might not be up there as much. So it's like,
yeah, they got the legs in midfield.
It's gonna make up for it, you know. And it's like, I'm just so excited. I think this might be, I mean, I think personally the USA group is the most exciting, but this one might be up there. I mean, I'll go ahead with my picks right now, but
I'm gonna predict your picks. I'm gonna say your picks are Uruguay and Korea, because those are where the Tottenham players are, and then Portugal, Ghana.
That's not where the Tottenham. That's not just because that's where the Tottenham players are. I mean, do you hear the front three that he just said for Uruguay?
What's the front three?
Suarez, Cavani, Nunez.
Yeah.
Is that actually their front three? Is Cavani going to the World Cup?
Yeah. I mean, they'll probably only start two of them, but I mean, that's a great.
Right, but I'm just saying
that can't be the front
options.
three for sure. They're all strikers.
No, I'm just saying when you have those three players as an option, like that's things aren't going well in the last, like that's a total Olivier Giroud type of sub, you know. It's like things aren't going well. Well, look who we got as a sub, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm gonna defend myself because Craig was ready to tackle me no matter what.
Uruguay are an exciting
team. Uruguay are an exciting team, just like Clay had mentioned. No bias. I mean, there's some bias, but not really, because I just think they're in good form. The players are. South Korea, I worried about this one a little bit, only because I'm not sure how much Son will be able to like contribute, given that he just had surgery on his eye. So like
that's why I put
gotta wear the mask. But like if he's anything like masked Harry Kane back in the day, he's gonna be 10 times better than he currently is. So, but then you also have players like Kim Min-jae, who is coming into his own and to maybe the most exciting team in Europe with Napoli, and he's the heart of that defense. And it's like, I really wanted him to come to Spurs back in the day. He didn't, and now he's like double the price tag, and Spurs are supposedly looking back at him again. But it's like, I don't know. There's not a lot going on there that like would yield a like winning the group or confirming them getting second. But if 4 years ago they were able to make it out of the group, that was not an easy group. I don't see how they can't do it again with arguably a better, more experienced squad. So while there is bias with Son, I don't think you can argue how good he is. And also when you look at Kim Min-jae, who's not a Tottenham player, guess what? There he is, Craig. So those are my arguments there. And then for Portugal, I mean, I think you both know how much I value the team chemistry when it comes to team sport, but let alone an event like this that is just going to require as much togetherness as possible. I mean, when you look at teams like Denmark in the last Euros, Croatia in the last World Cup, stuff like that it requires everyone to just be all in. And Portugal are not that right now. I mean, if anyone was able to see Bruno Fernandes's greeting to Ronaldo was just cringy. And then you look at João Cancelo too. I mean, he didn't want to even look at him. It looked like he didn't want to look at him. And when you have that sort of situation going on from the start, it's not good. So we'll see how that pans out. I mean, to some level, talent will, take advantage of that, but I don't think they'll go all the way. Like some people might have predicted them to previous to all this drama.
Craig, who'd you pick?
From bottom to top, my picks were Ghana, Portugal, Uruguay, South Korea.
Okay, hold up. You're gonna get there and get mad at me for my picks, and you had basically the same thing.
I didn't get mad at you. I just predicted what your picks were gonna be.
Oh, here's the bias.
Yeah, but I don't have any bias.
So
this is
all right, Craig. Why did you pick Portugal to finish third and Korea to finish first?
Korea is gonna win it. This is the hill that I'm gonna die on for this World Cup. This is my spiciest take. I mean, I do I have to. You want me to explain it or?
Yeah.
We've heard it. We've heard it.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're gonna go, I guess, round by round for everybody. So I guess Hamant did maybe read Hamant's or no, we'll read everyone's knockout stages. But
So
Hamant,
what was Himon's for the
We
group?
all just go through our own knockout stages because we're all
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
do
yeah, yeah.
So
So,
Clay, if you want to zoom out on yours and just go through the whole thing.
well, I don't want to spoil my picks.
Okay,
So,
all right.
Hamant did Portugal, Uruguay, Ghana, South Korea. But going over to my knockout stage, round of 16. First, we have Netherlands versus USA. I went with the Netherlands. And then I had a tough pick here, Argentina or France. I just like the Argentina side just won their
America.
Copa America. I was blanking on what it was called, but yeah. And like I said, I think France could run into some issues in the midfield. So I chose Messi to advance to the quarterfinals. Moving down, Spain versus Morocco. I mean, that was kind of a reach for me to put Morocco in the knockout stage. So I think that Spain should handle them pretty handedly. And then Brazil, Portugal, the battle of the Portuguese speaking nations. What is it? Colonizers versus the colonialists or whatever.
Colonists.
Colonists, yeah.
Wait, colonizers and colonists are the same thing.
Yeah, okay. Whatever. You know what I'm trying to say.
Colonies.
Right. Anyways, I went with Brazil over Portugal. I mean,
Okay.
I don't want to beat a dead horse, but yeah, I just
Yep.
don't think Portugal is gonna last too long.
Ronaldo's
England,
not really
Ecuador, that was pretty straightforward for me. And then I went with Denmark over Mexico and Croatia over Germany, or no, Germany over Croatia, and then Uruguay beating Serbia. So then moving on, I guess I'll just move up now. I have Germany beating Uruguay, and I really wanted to put Uruguay through, but I just think that Germany, I don't know, there's something about their talent. I really like Jamal Musiala. I think he's like the next budding star that he could really carry them and play a key role in beating Uruguay. And then I have England beating Denmark. What?
in that game specifically, he's gonna play a key role.
Well, the whole World Cup.
Oh,
Um,
continue.
England versus Denmark. I had England. I flip flopped on this one. I almost put Denmark through, but then I was like, I don't know if I could see Germany or Denmark making the final. So I put England through. I guess I spoiled my semifinal pick because I picked England to go
England in the final.
and I didn't. I mean, man, I don't like it
Talk
because
about the colonists.
no, I just don't like. I don't like Southgate that much. I don't like his team selection. And I don't like his tactics mainly. But like Craig said, in the big tournaments, he has proven to be able to produce results and progress pretty far. So I think England's going to progress to a second straight major tournament final. So on the other side of the bracket, I have Brazil beating Spain and Argentina beating Netherlands to give a rematch of the Copa America final last year, which I chose to flip the result, which is Brazil beating Argentina.
And the Brazil World Cup semifinal when it was.
Yeah, I mean, this would be a TV dream to have Argentina Brazil in the semifinal. And I just think that Brazil's squad is too strong. If you look at it, it's the most complete squad from top to bottom, from attack to goalie. I just think they have the most quality. And
I mean, with Fred, you can't really lose. So it's like
exactly
that is true.
Yep, and that's why Manchester United have had so much success over the last years. And then so I chose Brazil to win it all over England. So I think Southgate's people are gonna come for his heads again.
His heads.
Yeah,
all of them.
It's just written in the stars, I think, that it's gonna happen. That he's gonna get all the way there, and all the England fans are gonna be like, "Oh, it's coming home, and then it doesn't. I just think Brazil. For me, there was one route for me to go, and it was Brazil. So, yeah, Craig, let's see what you got.
All right, I know.
Well, I want to talk about Southgate for a sec.
All right,
but problem is Clay's got a deadline that was 10 minutes ago. Clay, right?
Yeah, we
right?
gotta keep it moving.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll just run through mine super quick. France, Argentina. It sucks that this was a matchup, but like I said, I don't, the curse of the winner of the World Cup. So Argentina goes through. Spain, Canada. Pick Spain, easy pick. Brazil, Uruguay, easy pick. England, Senegal,
Whoa.
easy pick. Denmark, Mexico, easy pick. Uh, England, Denmark. I also did struggle with this one. But like I said, I got faith in Southgate. Not in the way he plays. I don't like it either, but just because he's proven it. Brazil, Spain. I agree that Brazil is the best side in the tournament, probably. I just think they'll make it farther than that. And Argentina, Netherlands. And then Argentina, Brazil. I also had them in the semifinals, and this is where I have Argentina beating Brazil the other way around. I think that going back to Clay Troyer's unity, I think this Argentina team might be the most like unified team, which is an interesting kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Juxtaposition to Ronaldo's team. Portugal, what we're talking about, might not be. I think this is the most unified team in the tournament by far. They're all wanting this for Messi. You can see the way they play in the Copa America, the way they all talk about it. Okay, they win that one, and then I actually don't remember who I picked. My camera is hiding this. I picked Belgium. Did I? I guess I picked Belgium over England. I'm not confident about this pick. I also think England might be in the final. And then I do pick Messi of wearing the blue and white. Argentina, bring it home. Messi will cement his position as the GOAT once he wins the World Cup. I'm actually going to change this to say England are going to make the final, and
Okay.
then they're going to lose to Argentina.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Clay, let's see what you got.
All right. Oh, well, you can see everything, but
It's all right.
starting off, Netherlands, Wales. As much as I want Wales to keep going, I think it's going to end there. I think Netherlands are solid and exciting. Argentina, France, don't want to beat a dead horse. Argentina there. I think Argentina, Brazil were two of the top teams in the tournament that like were super, very easy and safe pick for either one of them. Germany, Belgium. I think Germany. I worry about Belgium. I also worry about Germany. That could be a toss-up in all honesty. Brazil, South Korea. As much as I love South Korea, Brazil are gonna win that one. Going on the other side, the U.S. and Senegal. I actually think the U.S. could win that. I think if we make it to this stage, it'll just be game by game sort of thing. And I think, like I said, that benefits teams like the U.S., Denmark, Wales, those sort of teams. Then we got Denmark, Poland. I think Denmark come away with that one. Croatia, Spain. The youth of Spain worries me a little bit. That'll be kind of like the young versus the old matchup there. Uruguay, Switzerland. I think Uruguay are exciting, and they hopefully will be in form. Then moving on to the next one, Uruguay, Croatia. Here, Croatia became too old for me, so I went with Uruguay. But that was kind of a hot take to begin with, so I found myself in a sticky situation. Here with the U.S. and Denmark.
That side of the bracket is nuts.
Yeah,
I love it.
right?
I love it.
Yeah, so this is like an easy side in all honesty, but whatever. And then Denmark and Uruguay. I think Denmark got to come away with that one. So somehow they ended up in the final. Come over to here, Netherlands, Argentina. It's Messi's year, I think. Germany, Brazil. Brazil, I mean, the way that Brazil look, they just look like the reason I've always liked Brazil, they used to be my favorite national team because of Kaká. But the reason I love them so much is because I actually stopped liking them in spite of Neymar because I dislike him. But they just have fun and they enjoy the game and they enjoy it to the point where it's like it's easy for them, and it's hard for teams to adjust to that. So, and you topple that on with as much skill as they do have, and it's hard for them to not win. So beating Germany, then you get to the semifinal here, and it's a repeat of a lot of situations. And I think Brazil have a lot to prove for both the Copa and the former semifinals of the World Cup. It's crazy that this situation has happened so they can end up in that same situation again. Brazil advanced there, and then when it comes to Denmark, I think the Cinderella story ends there, but not without a great, scoreline, 3-2 Brazil.
I like it. Nice.
Clay, right? If you want to hop off, I can stay on with Clay Troyer. We can talk about Southgate, see what he wants to say.
Okay, let me share Hamon's picks really quickly.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
so can you guys see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Kind of blurry. And he put
He would put this in
Netherlands
Excel sheet.
over Wales, and then Argentina
He's
over
like true consulting.
over Denmark.
Wait, he filled it out on the FIFA website and then screenshotted it and
Yeah,
put it
I
into
don't know.
Excel.
And then he put Spain over Morocco, Brazil over Uruguay, England over Senegal, France over Poland, Belgium over Japan, Portugal over Serbia. Going up, Portugal over Belgium, France over England, Brazil over Spain, Netherlands over Argentina.
Whoa.
Then in the semis, he has Brazil beating Netherlands and Portugal beating France. So, and then he has ultimately Portugal beating Brazil in the final. So Hamant does not think that the Ronaldo is going to be a distraction.
Well, I think he filled this out before that news, did he not?
It was a little bit. I mean,
No, I was during.
no, it was like during. So he didn't. Not all of it came out, but most of it. I mean, the gist of it was already out there, you know. But he says the deep squads are key to success in this World Cup. In the end, Portugal has the best combination of depth and freshness that will end in eternal glory.
I just don't. Whatever.
So that's what he says. And he also
He's
highlights.
not wrong. Portugal do have a lot of depth and freshness.
Oh, but you could say that Brazil. I mean, have the.
You can say that about Brazil. You can also say that about Argentina.
Yeah.
Yeah. And South
even-
Korea, which is why I picked South Korea to go over
Yeah.
Portugal.
But yeah,
I think that,
so I'm
but-
gonna hop off now, but I'll leave the Zoom open so you guys can talk about your Southgate picks and stuff.
Okay, stop sharing your screen.
All right, there we go. It was a pleasure.
All right, see you, Clay. Oh man, he's gone. Okay, what do you have to say about Gareth Southgate? Let it spill.
It's funny
Why
because
why do you hate him so much?
I don't hate him. I used to love him. Like going into the last World Cup, his tactics or some of his methodologies I enjoyed, but the issue becomes well, it's funny because you were talking the way you talked about Tottenham and Conte's team is like they can't do this forever. They keep getting results. Is kind of the same reason you like Southgate.
That's not the I don't like him. I don't like the
Or
style
the
they
same
play.
reason you have confidence in that team. Like
No.
you kept saying that Tottenham were bound to lose eventually. And they're bound to run out of gas and whatever because they were playing poorly.
That's
And I
correct.
think that same stuff has to be. I think what my point is that I think England have underperformed in these last tournaments, despite it being successful
way.
based on their history, based on their players. They've underperformed.
No way. I'm not saying that they're gonna win because of their style of play. That wasn't the reason. The reason was because they've been successful in
Right.
the last 3 tournaments.
I agree.
Despite their style of play.
I get that, but
Yeah. And
But I
Tottenham
thought it
have
was
not
interesting.
been successful. So there was nothing
well,
all-
there's not as much time there to say that. To say based on Conte's current tenure, they have been successful with what he was given and when
yeah,
he.
but you like you
was-
said, that's not enough time. So all I have to go off of with Tottenham is you can't win a Premier League by playing counterattacking football. You can win a World Cup by playing counterattacking football. I'll 100% say that. I don't know that England are going to. They probably will. They've never really been very creative under Southgate. But I think, for example, this is where I think like Bellingham and Foden can really change the way. I mean, Foden was a big part even in the Euros, but I think they can kind of change the way England play. Hopefully, with Declan Rice kind of being the pivot because he can get forward too. If he locks down the midfield, I think they might be able to be a little bit more creative. But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean they'll probably do well, but I don't know. It's hard to say. I just don't. I just think they have underperformed. I think it's like easy to say because of their lack of success in the past that they're doing so well. Which I mean, to any other team they are, but when you look at the players they have, it's like there's no reason they shouldn't be guaranteed, quarter semifinals, like without a doubt. It's like I mean, maybe they shouldn't have won the Euros given how well Italy was playing, but it's like I think they have underperformed in all of their performances on the pitch, and they've gotten some results that maybe they shouldn't have,
Fair enough. Well, but that's kind of my point is that tournaments are the place
Right.
for teams that don't deserve wins. That's where
That was kind of my point with USA and Wales too. Is like
yeah,
they don't
That's
have to be they don't have to win for a whole season.
yeah.
Every U.S. sports movie, motivational speech plays in their favor. It's like
Well, you think they're gonna be watching Miracle before they?
I would if I were them. I'd be blasting that in the locker room all night. I used to watch Miracle before every fitness test the night before.
Did you? Did it work?
It did. I passed it every time. So
I think Russia might need to be in the tournament for that to work. But
Um,
no, I think yeah. I mean England could definitely not do well.
I personally hope they get knocked out because I really hated those comments that guy was making. It was so arrogant, and sometimes it's like the pundits in England, they get so arrogant about this team, and it's like they have this entitlement, you know, and it's like you are not entitled to anything. Like these other teams in your group are good, and if you overlook them, they will beat you.
Yeah, but you can't. You heard one English guy say this one thing about the Wales team, which is, to be honest, it's not an outlandish thing. There's
I mean,
who
I
are you
think it's
thinking?
outlandish to say that you wouldn't pick up Gareth Bale when you have 4 empty spots.
That's okay. That's fair, but like, it's not like. My point is, you heard one English guy say this one thing, and that changed your entire World Cup
No, I mean,
prediction for how the
I
team
already
should
like
play.
I was already liking the idea of USA and Wales doing one over on England, but that just sparked like this this fire, and I was like, all right, you know what? The kindling was all there. I've picked all the wood. It was all ready. I had flint, I had steel, and he lit the flame.
Okay, maybe the Wales team will, because realistically, this one guy doesn't actually have any influence over what happens at the World Cup.
Oh, correct. No,
But he might if the Wales team also watched that interview and
well,
they
that's
got
what
the
I'm saying.
same
It's like
fire.
Wales have nothing to lose. They made the World Cup. That's history already. Same
Yeah,
with the United States. No one is expecting this United States team to do well. I mean, to do great things. You know, it's like,
yeah.
but I mean, it's written in the stars. I mean, if anything, if there's anything to give the United States, it's that they love sports and they love to love sports. And the day after Thanksgiving, a holiday that was based off of colonizers coming to the new world, it's like this is they play England, the country that they. It's written in the stars, in my opinion. I mean, with the timing and the lack of expectation on the United States side and the surplus of expectation on the English side, it's like England have everything to lose, and you know that. It's like imagine if they get scored on in the first half against US. It's like it will be. I mean, Twitter will be a nightmare, and everything will go crazy. It's just like I don't know. I'm excited because US have nothing to lose, and England have everything to lose, and that's a
It's
recipe for
yeah.
an upset. That's a
It's
recipe for an underdog story.
it's interesting because honestly, as a Premier League fan, it's really hard for me to root against England, just because all the players that I watch, even like not on Manchester United, just in general, even if they're
I
Tottenham players or
agree.
other players, yeah. So it's interesting to see you, especially when the
Well, for me, I can
captain
very
of England,
easily
especially when the captain of England is Big
thought
H.
about it. Yeah, well, it's easy for me to kind of like situate it the other way because you've got Tyler Adams, Brendan Aronson,
Hmm.
Tim Ream, all these guys that are Premier League players who I was like, okay, well, that makes me very easy to root for. And then Weston McKennie, who you can't not like.
You forgot the biggest name.
Pulisic. I personally am not the biggest fan of Pulisic, but maybe it has to do with his Chelsea ties.
Hmm,
I watch him
maybe
too much in Chelsea and I don't like it. So
that's
he needs
fair.
to leave and he needs to go to Leeds. Um,
But so you're predicting on the Thanksgiving Day matchup. I mean, if you're predicting England not to make it through and US to finish the group,
they
then
have to win that. Yeah.
they probably have to win that. But yeah, Tim Howard. I was just watching the NBC Sports. Tim Howard actually predicted England to win that.
Yeah. I mean, he's got to. He would be destroyed publicly if he didn't, you know?
Well, you're saying we're not going to get many listeners on this podcast to
Well,
destroy us
I'm
publicly.
saying our reputations don't really surpass Tim Howard's. It doesn't help that yeah, but it's there for the taking. It really is. I mean, it's a miracle situation, and the excitement, the build up, everything is just there. It's ready. So
If it was here in America, that would be a crazy game. That would be amazing. Then the atmosphere would be huge. Oh, actually, that was the reason I forgot to mention. That was part of the reason I I picked Iran as my second in that group, is because I saw a video of English players like sweating in the heat.
I saw that too, and they
Yeah,
could not handle the heat.
and it was kind of like a funny tweet, but I was like, hey, maybe they're onto something. As Iran, they're used to the heat, so I'm picking them to go
Yeah, but
to
the
go
U.S.
see.
I mean, I think the U.S. have a leg up in that situation. Like England, the climate is one thing in the whole country. It's one thing. The United States, I mean, it's not abnormal to have levels of heat that are like
Yeah, you have
super
hot
high.
summers. Yeah.
Huh? Yeah.
I said, yeah, you have hot summers.
You're in America now.
What did I say?
You said you.
Yeah, well, that's because I'm not in America at this moment in time.
Where are you?
Clearly in South Africa.
Ah, I gotcha.
Yeah, we have hot summers here in America.
I don't know. It'll be the glory is there, and that's the best part about this game is that. So I'm so excited. I think I'm excited for the Wales game because I mean, I love Gareth Bale. He's so much of the reason that my family started supporting Tottenham was when he was coming up, left wing back. And then Ben Davies, I'm a huge fan of his, and he's in good form as far as Ben Davies goes.
Yeah. So some say
I'd argue to switch him out over Harry Maguire. I mean, based on form, and that was another argument that that British guy said, no, I would never take Ben Davies over Harry Maguire. I'm like, okay, well, that's biased, very much so, but I'm also biased. So, and I also love Joe Roden, and then there's Daniel James and the big tall striker. I'm spacing on his name right now, but Kiefer Moore. I like him a lot. There's only one guy that rubs me the wrong way.
Who rubs you the wrong way,
I
Clay?
can't remember his name. I'm blanking on who it is.
Let me pull up the Wales squad
Their midfielder who played for Arsenal.
for Arsenal.
Aaron Ramsey.
Aaron Ramsey is going to the World Cup. Yeah, he probably is. I
don't know if he actually got picked.
I think he did. Who did he play for? He plays for Nice now. Yeah,
I'd be surprised if he didn't. I mean, he's a big part of their success recently, so it's like I'd be surprised if he didn't. It's crazy that Hennessy is still playing too.
That is crazy.
But man,
I mean, hey, Ronaldo's playing his 5th World Cup. That's insane. 5th World Cup. That's 20 years.
And this team is such a pull it together squad. I could argue you take out Bale and the US squad is better than Wales.
The US squad is 100% better than Wales. Wales is one of the lowest ranked teams in the tournament, which
I
think they're underrated a little bit, but yeah, they're not a great team by any means.
Nico Williams is always I remember him in the Sunderland documentary a long time ago, who's supposed to be like really good.
Harry Wilson. What about Harry Wilson? I remember when he was making waves in the Prem.
Agreed. All right, let's wrap this up.
Yeah, wrap it up, Clay.
I'll step in for the other C in the CEC football. Should be an exciting World Cup. Everyone, thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Bye.